I've hit places in my life where I felt like I couldn't move forward, where everything in my life was jammed up, where it didn't feel like I was making any progress no matter how hard or how long I worked. That's kind of what I'm talking about whenever I say life freezes up. Have you ever been working on a computer where it freezes up and you have to hit the Ctrl-Alt-Delete buttons and pull up Task Manager? And you reset the computer. What happens is it clears out some things in the memory that don't need to be there. It clears out some processes that maybe we're holding up. If you've had a phone that you've recently done an operating system upgrade to, one of the steps is always that it says, hey, you need to reset your phone, or you're going to need to reboot your phone. And so what basically resets are part of life. It's not saying that's what's there doesn't matter. It's not erasing everything that you are, but a reset is saying, hey, there's some things here that you don't need to carry with you. And God will use reset in our lives in a couple of different ways. Sometimes, like I said, just when everything's jammed up, and so there's a reset that's needed because you just need to clear out some things that are there that just aren't working for you. But then there's other times whenever God says, hey, you know what? There's an upgrade in store for you. And so it's not always a bad thing whenever we're going through reset. And see, one of the things I want to talk about is in Isaiah 43, there's a verse of scripture there. It says, look, I'm doing a new thing. Can you not perceive it? I'm making streams in the, I think it says streams in the deserts and paths in the wilderness. But basically the whole premise there is he's doing a new thing. The word that is used there in Isaiah 43:19 is Shadash, Chadash, and it means fresh, like never recycled. It's not a patch. It's not a Band-Aid. It's not duct tape. It's not, trying to get by. It's brand new. And see, whenever God does things, he does things new, complete, and whole. And so we don't have to feel like we're patched together. And so, what we need to figure out is, why do we need a reset? And why Ctrl-Alt-Delete? Why did I come up with Ctrl-Alt-Delete? Well, the world doesn't need another self-help update. It needs a reset. There's so many people trying to tell everybody, hey, you know what? You just need to accept the way you are, because everything's fine. Well, what we're finding out is the longer that we live, not everything's fine. Not everything's okay inside of me. I find out that there's some things inside of me that I carry from other seasons that I don't want to carry around. And so I want to drop those things off. I want to set those things to a side. I want to reset. And so there's 10 letters in this, okay? Ctrl-Alt-Delete, and so there's 10 weeks. And so we're going to go through each one of these different things that's going to allow us to be able to focus in on getting some of this reset started in our lives. And so control, we're going to take authority. And how we're going to do that is because we're going to clear. We're going to turn aside. We're going to release. We're going to lay down. So you see, control has a lot to do with letting go. And then we're going to go through Alt, which is choose a different path. Well, alone. We're going to linger. We're going to learn to trust. So there's some things here in Alt that's going to choose differently than what we're doing right now. Because see, here's the thing. If what you were doing now worked, why would you be looking for a reset? So maybe change is part of the process. And if we always try to do the things that we've always done, we're always going to get what we've always had. So in that ALT part of the series, we're going to talk about the alternatives to what we've been doing and trying to figure out a different way of getting things done and seeing how we can align ourselves up a little bit better with what God's trying to get us to do. And then delete, DEL. We're going to remove what's frozen. And so we're going to learn how to die to noise. We're going to learn how to enter zero. We're going to learn how to live again. And so I'm really excited about it. I've lived the freeze. I've lived the lockup. I've lived the burnout. I've had so many seasons in life where there's, so much going on that I'm not getting anything done. And so I've had to learn that God is going to pull you away. He's going to take you into a place. He's going to pull you into some wilderness times where he can talk to you and where it's his voice you're hearing. And so, this all kind of started for me a few months ago whenever God was bringing me into a season of silence, and God will use silence. We'll talk about that later in another series, but in the reset, God, he doesn't say, hey, I'm going to give you this little thing here, this little thing here. He says, I'm going to reset it. I'm going to do something completely new. If you'll let me do it my way and stop trying to do it your way, it's going to work out a lot better for you. And so that's the reason why Ctrl-ALT-Delete was born. It was born out of this place of, I want to reset before I crash. I want to upgrade before the things that I'm not able to handle anymore overtake me. Upgrades are always because it's going to help you do something that you weren't able to do before. And so that's the reason why I'm really in this season of focusing on reset. And so the Spirit is calling this entire generation, and the generation, I'm not talking about millennials versus Gen X versus Gen Z or any of that kind of stuff. The generation that's in the earth right now. God's calling us to reset. If you look at everything that's happening in the earth right now, everything geopolitically is resetting because we're in a different era now. And if we try to operate the way that we were operating, we're going to get the same results that we've always had. But I'm in a season now where I don't want to have what I've always had. I want to have what God has for me. And the only way I find that is by resetting, because maybe it's a clogged up, jammed up system that I need to get cleared. But maybe God's got an upgrade. Like maybe God's got something more in store for me that I'm missing because I'm choosing to stay in a season that He's ready for me to get out of. And so here's the invitation, right? This isn't about self-improvement. This is not a self-improvement program or course. Man, this is about surrender. This is about, like, we're going to reset. And so one of the things that I would like to challenge you right now is wherever you're jammed up, just put a name on it. Like, between you and God, between you and the greater power, between you and yourself, whatever you need to do. But wherever you're jammed up right now, just sit down and write that out and say, hey, right now, this is where I'm jammed up. Sometimes all we got to do is just take a step back and just evaluate. And that's the first step. So I'd like to introduce you to the reset. I'd like to introduce you to Ctrl-ALT-Delete. And I'm excited about this journey, and I hope you're excited about taking it with us. Thanks.